Welcome to the Logitech McLaren G Challenge. I'm your host, Heather DeVoe, and today we will be watching F1 driver Lando Norris and William Byron from the NASCAR Cup Series race with their team of influencers, musicians, and professional drivers. But before we get to all that, I want to welcome in my co-hosts for the broadcast today. Let's see, Luke Crane and John Sargent here. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. I'm excited and ready to go. John, how about you?
I'm really looking forward to this. We have a completely wide range of racing experience, but 10 extremely famous faces here. And I honestly don't know which way we're going to be able to call it. Luke, I know there's a chance it's coming home, but to be honest, it's too close to call.
And
Absolutely,
Luke, how about
completely
you?
Agree. Well, two very, very tight teams, I would say, in terms of experience within sim racing and the real world of indeed real racing. And then we've got some, like John said, some big celebrity names as well. And for me, it's going to be all about, over the last month, how the non-sim races, non-racers have improved the most. Whichever team has improved the most over the last month, well, I think we'll get the job done.
Well, if you're new to sim racing and you're wondering how today's races will go down, don't worry, we've got you covered. John is going to explain the format for us right now.
Exactly right. So here we go. This is the format. And today we are going to have a 10-minute qualifying session before each of our two races. We're first going to be racing on Daytona International Speedway, and we're then going to be moving into Monza. After that 10-minute qualifying session, we will then move into the race. The drivers will score points based on where they finish in the race, and the points then get added up over the course of the two races to determine the overall team winner.
And now that we know the format, Luke, how exactly is this race schedule going to be?
Well, if there was ever going to be a deep end in sim racing, these two tracks are that. We've got Daytona then with the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 Cup Series car, and then we head to Monza in the Dallara IR01, two of the most famous circuits in the world of motorsport. And well, we've got them here today. It should be an amazing watch, that's for sure.
Well, we know the format and the schedule, but now we want to know who's competing today. This is the lineup of drivers, an incredible group of people racing in our Pro-Am event. John, who do you have your eyes on?
Look, both teams have professional racing drivers on their team. So of the non-professionals, I'm mainly looking towards Annemunition. She's not known for sim racing when she's streaming, but I know how competitive she is and how good she gets at a game when she really focuses her attention into it. So I'm super keen to see how she gets on.
Luke, I know you have a favorite out there. Who is it?
I think Byron's probably the favorite in terms of the teams. I think Daly is the kicker for them. They've both got the same amount of racing drivers, but then you factor in Daly's sim racing experience, and for me, becomes the stronger team.
Well, these drivers were drafted a few weeks ago and picked by our team captains, William Byron and Lando Norris. So let's take a look at why they picked who they have on their team.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Logitech McLaren G Challenge Pro-Am Draft. Today I'm joined by none other than William Byron himself. Will, are you here?
Yeah, man, I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Good to see you virtually.
Yeah, you too. It's the first time we're meeting, so we're getting straight into the competition. No friendly banter anymore. We're just straight into the competition. I'm ready for some racing. I'm ready to pick, obviously, the best. The best drivers out there today, most entertaining drivers as well, and you can have the rest of them basically. We have an open wheel race, we have a stock car race, and we'll be doing a draft. So we'll be picking our teammates and see basically who picks the best ones.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. I hope I get the best team. I feel like we.
Well, I pick first. My pick number one. So I need someone who's going to entertain the fans. So I'm going to start it with none other than AP Ferg.
I don't know how I can top that one, but I am going to start with my first pick. She's a good streamer, pretty cool person.
Oh, right.
Annemunition.
Oh, okay, all right.
After that, I've got to go with the race car driver that can carry the team, because I obviously can't. So I'm going to go Felix Rosenqvist.
Alrighty, he's a good peddler. I need someone who's going to be able to top that. I'm going to go with none other than Robert Wickens and IndyCar God, Indy 500 race winner. So hopefully he's going to be carrying me on the ovals, Tony Kanaan.
Those are like two bombshell picks there. I've got to go with an American guy. He's Parker Kligerman. He's a. It says he's a professional stock car race driver. I know him pretty well. Pretty good guy.
Okay. And your 7th pick driver?
So I'm gonna go with Rory. She's a big gamer herself.
My final 2 picks. Mixing it up again, I'm gonna go with Micky Blue. Wonderful lady. And final one, I'm gonna go with the musician himself, Connor Bull. I'm happy with that.
Some pretty good picks, man. I think I've got one pick left here, and I'm gonna go with Ben Daly. I think he's gonna be pretty good. I think he's pretty quick.
That's cool. I think we got 2 pretty awesome teams there. Pleasure doing business. Pleasure sharing these top talents out. And I'll see you on the racetrack very soon.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. Looking forward to it.
Cool. I would say good luck, but I don't want to wish you any luck, mate. So, yeah.
Well, a little bit of smack talk there already between Byron and Norris, but John, how do you think these teams are going to stack up against each other today?
I really love the smack talk there, and I hope that the action continues on track as well. Right now, it is looking like the professional racing drivers should stream ahead. I want to know how much help the non-racing drivers have had, so I'm super curious to see how much slower. We think they're going to be a bit slower than the professional racers, but I want to know by how much, because I reckon all the way through the field, some of these battles are going to be really tight, and we might even get to see a couple of crashes as well.
And Luke, who do you think is the most competitive of the 2 teams?
Again, I've got to stick with William Byron for me. I believe that they both stitched up Ben Daly on purpose, which is great banter from the off. Although they must know his reputation as well of being a bit of a bottle job. But I think the most interesting thing is that AP Ferg was pick number 1. So does Lando know something that we don't?
Possibly, very true. Well, these contestants have had time to practice over the last month, but the first time that they met was the first time that they got behind the wheel. Let's check out the practice session that they had for the first time as a team.
Come on, Ferg, man. Why are you going so slow? He's like in 2nd gear.
Do I stay on 1st or do I go on 4th?
Go into 4th.
Oh!
All right, problem solved.
I don't know how you guys do this. This is so scary.
I turn right as well sometimes.
If we turn right here, it's not a good thing.
I'm in a groove now. Oh!
Sure?
ASAP, are you behind me?
Yup.
Okay, cool. We'll
gonna
stick
get you.
together. Oh, I was trying to be your teammate, but...
Oh.
That went well.
Oh, this is nice.
What the hell, Tony?
That's how we kick this thing off?
Just making sure the grass was all right. Working on some landscaping. You're still bouncing all over the place. It's so hard to follow.
Good. Don't overtake me.
Wait, wrong way.
Now you guys see why I stick to rapping. I promise I don't drive like this in real life.
We believe you.
Oh, he's had me off! Michael Massey, Jesus. 3 points on your license like I had on the weekend.
Oh, I got DQ'd. Reckless driving, what?
No, you've been driving the wrong way.
It's not me. Nah,
What? Nah. Oh! Oh, you're nice on the brakes there, Robbie, man. I thought you were going to miss the corner by a mile.
So did I.
Me too. Ooh.
Oh, he's off in 1. He's crumbled under the pressure. What a last lap. More traffic. Oh. Tony's going to have to send it into the last corner. Is Robert prepared to end up in the wall? Oh!
Good one, Robbie.
Checkers or wreckers, baby.
Oh, you
This is gonna be a wild turn one. Lando said he did a 1:23.5. He's like, you guys have to beat that.
135 top speed?
No, the lap time. Yeah, I can go a minute 23 between crashes.
Oh, he's coming. He's coming. Gonna have a good race here.
Hello, boys.
What is a stop and go penalty?
Means you've been naughty.
Oh boy.
Meow.
Yeah, there's an ambulance in front of me. Should I be concerned?
Yes.
I'm surprised how similar real racing is compared to sim racing.
It's a little more forgiving in the real car, I feel like.
The real car, you just need a lot more, like, courage.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, no.
Yes!
Oh, wait. Oh,
Oh no! I want to cry.
I was like, you're not gonna get this for free. Who's leading?
Oh, no! That was incredible.
Oh, I'm drenched.
Wow, that was entertaining for sure. A lot of laughs. One of my favorite parts was when Micky Blue was trying to draft with her teammate AP Ferg, and he wasn't having it at all. John, what did you think?
Oh, that video was fantastic. Look, before, when we were looking at the draft, we were thinking, oh, maybe one team's going to be better than the other. After watching that video, everything is now up in the air. I loved Connor Ball mowing the grass quite a lot. And I don't know, ASAP Ferg first up in the draft and stuck in second gear. I think we might be in a little bit of trouble here, but that was obviously also filmed quite a long time ago.
Definitely. And Luke, I heard you laughing. What did you like the most about that little clip there?
Well, what John saying ASAP, I think we're going to be saying as soon as possible by the end of this stream. It's just the name's going to get longer and longer. So we've got access to the Discord, so we can see exactly what's going on in there. And the fact that Micky Blue was petrified during that, but now I'm seeing she wants all of the sound levels checked. She wants to make sure she can't hear anything that she doesn't need to be hearing. Like, she's taking this proper seriously, so I'm excited to see her today.
For sure. Well, today's celebrating the kickoff to the Logitech G Challenge. The Pro-Am is kicking it off today right here. And if you're a racing enthusiast and you want to get involved on the action, pay attention because there's a ton of ways that you can get involved.
Attention racing enthusiasts, the wait is over. So sit down, strap in, and start your engines. This is the Logitech McLaren G Challenge. This video will explain everything you need to know on how to race your way into the grand finals. First, let's break down the basics. There are 4 regions: North America, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. That's over 170 countries. Each region will have their own stock car, sports car, and open wheel challenge. Open wheel and stock car challenges will be racing on iRacing, and the McLaren 720S Sports Car Challenge will be racing on Assetto Corsa Competizione. The season starts in July and goes through November. Each region will compete through 5 rounds of monthly races. Each round will consist of a qualifying period and a live race broadcasted on Twitch. So now that you've got the basics down, let's dive even further. Where do you begin? One word: qualifier. Anyone can participate on your own schedule. Set your best lap time in any challenge. Drive to the limit and get your best lap submitted. This is your chance to qualify for the monthly round races. So, are you fast enough? If the answer is yes, then you'll move forward to the monthly round races. Every month in every region, the top 30 drivers from the open wheel, stock car, and sports car challenges will race for a shot at reaching the semi-finals. To reach the semi-finals, you must get a podium position in one of the monthly races or accumulate enough points throughout the season. The top 30 make it in. So, the top 3 from each race in each region and the points leaders move on to the semi-finals. Over 100 drivers have a chance to win a trip to the Grand Finals weekend. All right, you've made it to the semi-finals, but you haven't crossed the finish line yet. In each region, 30 drivers will race for a chance to win a trip to the Grand Finals weekend. So, if you're one of the lucky ones that makes it this far, you now have a chance to win it all. Because only the fastest drivers from each region will get sent to the Grand Finals weekend in Las Vegas. A 4-day, 3-night trip to Sin City, including an on-track supercar driving experience. The Grand Finals weekend will be a massive, in-person sim racing community event where drivers will put pedal to the metal and compete on stage in front of a live audience cheering you to victory. Want to be part of this but didn't qualify? Compete in a wildcard event for another chance to make it. More information and locations are at logitechgchallenge.com. Winners of the stock car, open wheel, and sports car grand finals will win a McLaren Racing VIP experience, including a 4-day, all expenses paid trip to London, a tour of the McLaren Technology Centre, coaching from Lando Norris, and a behind-the-scenes tour with McLaren during the Formula One British Grand Prix in 2022. So pull out of the garage and onto the track and join us for the world's largest sim racing competition with the 2021 Logitech McLaren G Challenge.
Well, there you have it. That's how you can get involved. And I know what stuck out for me is that trip to Las Vegas. I wish I was eligible to participate. Gentlemen, what stuck out most to you? Luke, we'll start with you first.
The fact that this competition is, again, open to absolutely everybody. 3 different disciplines, and I mean really different disciplines. You've got of course, the open wheel, which is very high downforce. Then you've got the oval, which is its own commodity. It's a crazy tough discipline of racing. And then, of course, we've got the ACC sports car as well. So not only do you have a chance to, just be great at sim racing, you could be very good at specific events as well.
Definitely. And John, what stood out for you there?
First of all, 4 days and 3 nights is about 3 days and 2 nights longer than I should probably be allowed to spend in Las Vegas, but fingers crossed some of us make it there. Is this going to be fantastic? What really stands out for me, just to reiterate, this is the world's largest sim racing competition. We're expecting over 100,000 people to try their hand at our challenges. So literally visit the website and just sign up for whichever one takes your fancy. Post your best lap time. If it doesn't work, not a problem. Try something else. Literally anyone can join in. And I think that's what's so awesome about this. It's so inclusive and we get to have everybody involved.
Absolutely. And of course, none of this would be possible without our sponsors. We want to thank Splunk, Logitech, and McLaren for putting this program together. But coming up next are our qualifiers from the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Logitech McLaren G Challenge Pro-Am. We have a lot of different drivers in today's field, including musicians, professional drivers, and other streamers. But let's take a look at one driver in particular, and that's Tony Kanaan.
Wait, wrong way. I'm Tony Kanaan. I'm from Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. I'm the 2004 IndyCar Series champion and the 2013 Indy 500 champion. And I still race in IndyCar. I've been racing for 38 years. I was 8 years old. Growing up, obviously I played a lot of video games, but when you talk about a sim racing, I started it basically when the pandemic hit. We needed something to entertain the fans. We partnered with Logitech at the time, and I got hooked. And you're giving a race car driver a car that he can drive every day. If he crashes, there is no damage. And you can go and drive 5, 6, 7, 8 different tracks in one day. It's hard to explain at home for my 4 kids why their dad play simulators all day. My favorite win, well, I have to say the 2013 Indy 500. Winning the Indianapolis 500 for any driver, it's their dream. My hobbies outside of racing. I love to do triathlons. I do a couple half Ironmans a year. And apart from that, spending time with my 4 kids. My favorite part of racing is the speed and the adrenaline that comes with. I mean, driving at 400 kilometers an hour in an oval. I don't think I can really describe to you guys how good that feeling is, but I can tell you it's addicting. I'm really excited to race in the Pro-Am race. Those kind of events, especially when you bring people from outside the racing community, we can show them a little bit about our world. Huge competition, but Team Lando with me, Robert Wickens, I think we're gonna have the upper hand. We're ready to win.
That was Tony Kanaan representing for Team Lando, and we have a diverse crowd in the lineup, everyone from F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, to people that have just picked this up for the first time. Luke, how exciting is it to see such a diverse lineup in today's Pro-Am?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Not only is it a diverse group of real-world drivers, but they are very much at the top of their game. Real-world drivers as well. And Tony Kanaan, we're expecting to see him finish races because he actually holds a very unique record where he won the IndyCar Championship and he competed in every single lap of the season. Just to put that into perspective, over 3,300 laps in a season. An incredible stat.
Absolutely. What about you, John?
I think that having a legend like Tony on Lando's team is going to be a huge boost. My question isn't so much worrying about how Tony's going to do. I think Tony is going to do superb. He is a living legend. But how well he's able to use his experience to help the drivers on Team Lando that might not have competed at the same sort of level. Well, no one's really competed at the same sort of level in IndyCar anyway, but it's really how he's able to transfer that knowledge and allow the other members of the team to sort of bunch up, get close, and work together. And that's going to be the key to victory here this afternoon.
Definitely, and qualifiers are happening right now. So let's talk a little bit more about Daytona International Speedway itself and the history here of this racetrack. I know it's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, it's one of those circuits where it's like the Indy 500 effectively for NASCAR with the Daytona 500. It is just an absolute spectacle. Also hosts the 24 Hours of Daytona as well, which is a multi-class race which happens at the start of every single year. There's like a very few tracks that you can say are the mecca of motorsport. In America, Daytona is definitely that.
Absolutely. I know every time I'm there for the Daytona 500, I get chills during that anthem and flyover. It's an incredible place. That's super awesome to be able to be a part of. But qualifiers happening right now. Things are looking pretty good for these guys so far.
Very relaxed at the moment. We're not seeing anything particularly spectacular. Love the way that they're managing to stick together on the team there, using drafting for maximum advantage, trying to squeeze as much speed as possible. Luke, this is really quite different from what we would consider circuit racing in Europe. This a lot of might have spoken too soon there, but a lot of different techniques being used here and a lot of subtleties in the way you have to drive. It's actually really quite difficult.
Yeah, oval racing is just such a tough discipline. It's about minimal inputs. It's about making sure you've got good tires near the end of a race as well. And it's just about being in there. As they say in poker, if you've got a chip in a chair, you've got a chance of winning. It's all about just keeping yourself there near the end of the race, and then you've always got an opportunity. But already we're seeing no love lost between Team Lando and Team Byron, as one of the Team Byron just gets absolutely sent there off the circuit by one of the Lando's teammates.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
Tactical.
John.
Very tactical shunting there.
And one of the things about super speedway racing is the drafting. So you kind of want to find that dancing partner, if you will, to work with, because you're faster together than apart. But where it comes tricky with these somewhat inexperienced drivers, that could happen right there, as we just see. It looks like one goes around into the ballpark.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal. That's not great preparation, that's for sure, especially in qualifying, because it takes sort of 2 or 3 laps to really warm the tyres up. And ultimately, if you have to then to retire to the pits and come back out, not only have you got to gain momentum around a circuit like Daytona, you've then got to find a partner to work with. As we are seeing, the orange orange bonnets of the front of the car there shows that it's Team Lando, and then you've got the blue ones there of indeed William Byron's team. And you'll see that they actually will work together in the race as well, like whether they've got a blue bonnet or an orange bonnet. You will see if 2 cars come out of position, it then becomes about them just trying to get up to the front once again, regardless of what team you're on. It's all about just keeping yourself involved, really. But yeah, we just saw another driver get dumped off the circuit. But as it stands then, William Byron, as you would expect in a NASCAR race here, is the quickest out on circuit. And Robert Wickens, who has been incredible. I actually casted on a DTM esports last year with Robert Wickens, and he surprised everybody. So yeah, no surprises to see that it's William Byron, Robert Wickens, and again, Tony Kanaan as your top 3.
And there we have a live look at William Byron in the corner of your screen. He actually has his racing gloves on. Does that help you guys out?
I think it often does. It's being able to continue to get the sensations and the feedback through the wheel over a long period of time. You might not notice that much of a difference sometimes, people who are playing for a short period of time, but especially if you're sort of settling down for a long period of sim racing, they can be very, very useful.
To be fair, it's more to do with the blistering of your hands with the wheel on your thumbs to stop getting calluses on your hands. But also, a lot of wheels are made of Alcantara. It's to stop your hands from going all black as well.
Absolutely, and right now I think we're watching him push Parker Kligerman through the corner. Parker, I believe, was the one that just took a spin through the infield, so this is looking better for him at the moment.
Well, with William Byron currently leading the way, he is going to try and do the best he possibly can to try and push a couple of his teammates there up the front end. But by the looks of things, he's got all of his 6 drivers in the top 9 as it stands, which is it's very much a blue leaderboard. But then there's Robert Wickens and Tony Kanaan, who indeed are spoiling that Byron party.
Surprisingly, there, Lando Norris at the bottom. What do you think's happening with him, John?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure at the moment. You would have expected Lando to be one of the early pace setters here. I'm not particularly worried. I think that the teams are mainly working together. Lando perhaps is trying to push several of his teammates further up the board before he perhaps goes for a couple of flying laps himself. So at this stage in qualifying, I wouldn't be overly concerned. I'm really digging the way that Byron's team are working together, though, to try and get as many of those top places as possible. And I think that really shows. And look at that, Byron pushing Parker Kligerman actually to the top of the timing. Oh, pardon me, that time doesn't look correct at the moment, so we'll get a double check on that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Parker Kligerman does actually end up there with Byron's help.
Yeah, he has the experience as well. Kligerman actually has an iRacing team, Kligerman Esports as well, so he's he is no stranger to this circuit, no stranger to these cars. But I'm actually impressed with both teams. Both teams are working together here. Obviously, we saw that real funny video on the first day that a lot of these drivers had indeed got involved with the sim and indeed got involved with the equipment that they're using. But ultimately, they look a lot better now.
This is very different to when we saw the video of them first practicing, Luke, right? This is like a very, very polished outfit compared to what we saw before. We wouldn't necessarily see the same style of driving between here and Monza. We'll talk more about that later. But right now, what I'm really impressed with is just the teamwork and how much everyone's working together. This is really, really strong stuff from both teams.
Absolutely night and day to what we saw in a practice, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's good to see. And I was a little bit worried that we might not have the race that we would all want to see, but this is really, really positive here. As again, the qualifying times have just disappeared to the left-hand side of your screen, but to anyone that's new to racing or sim racing, you'll see that the top time, well, the drivers have numbers next to their name, 1 down to 12, and the top time or the lowest time will indeed be pole position for the race. But John, around this sort of circuit here, and Monza as well, to be fair, qualifying isn't really that important. Ultimately, it's all about just making sure that you don't bin it in the race.
Yeah, exactly right. Being able to, there are many opportunities compared to some circuits, especially compared to when you compare Monza to some of the more traditional circuits. Loads of opportunities to overtake. Racecraft is super important. Being able to get a nice slipstream behind the car in front and try and carry extra speed into the next part of the circuit means that there are plenty of chances, even if you don't qualify at the sharp end of the grid, to make up places in the race. And especially here, being able to follow a car super closely without obviously bumping everyone off. It's actually a skill that's almost unique to this kind of racing, Luke, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more there. It's just a lot of people look at oval racing and go, oh, that's oval racing. It's just going around in circles. It is so much more than that. It's so difficult. You've got to minimize the inputs. There's not a lot of aero on these cars as well. So again, if you just overturn or as they call it, oversteer into a corner, that you cannot save it. You know, if you do, you're an absolute magician, but the majority of the time, once you lose it around a circuit like this, because of the sheer pace you're going and the lack of aero you've got on the car, you are gonski.
Absolutely,
it looks
guys.
like that might be the conclusion.
Yeah, possibly, but it looks like we're going to look at Daytona International Speedway just a little bit more here. We did talk about it earlier, but a ton of different events ran at this historic racetrack. I've seen Supercross there, like you mentioned, the Rolex 24, but let's take a closer look here at the exact details, Luke.
Well, the track temperature is very high, actually, 40 degrees. In practice, they were running at around 30. So again, this is a whole different challenge. It'd be like running on bubblegum by midway point of this race. 25 laps is relatively long in terms of a tyre life. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how well that goes. Yeah, very limited wind. It's not going to make too much of a difference here. But again, it is just all about keeping yourself within the race from the start into the last 5 laps, and you just never know what can happen.
Absolutely, and qualifying was fun to watch. I believe it's just now wrapping up, so we will get a starting grid here shortly. But for the viewers at home that are wanting to get involved in this Logitech McLaren G Challenge series, there's a ton of ways to do it. We touched on it a little bit, but John, take it away. Give us a little bit more.
Absolutely. So you are watching the stock cars here today, but of course we have 3 completely different racing disciplines that you can compete in at home. We've got stock car, we've got open wheel, which you guys will get to see later, and we've also got sports car as well. You can compete on all 3 of those via LogitechGChallenge.com all the way from now through to the end of the year, and of course to try and get your shot to make it to the grand finals in Las Vegas at the start of next year. It's very much all to play for, and this is simply the first show of many to come.
Absolutely. And Luke, you mentioned it earlier, these guys and gals are getting used to their equipment. So can you talk a little bit about what equipment they're using there as far as the steering wheel, pedals, and things like that go for the viewers at home that may not have it?
Yeah, for the most part, they'll be using the Logitech G923, which is the first in a series with Logitech that has the new technology of True Force. In iRacing specifically, it is very nice, and it indeed enhances your feeling within the car because of the engine notes and indeed the tires on the tarmac. But yeah, a lot of these you know, maybe celebrities have thought, oh, it's a steering wheel, just turn left and right, but they will feel everything. They'll feel so many forces. They'll feel the force of the weight transfer. They'll feel the force of the tires, and it's just a whole new commodity to them. But ultimately, like we've seen already from practice to today, they've really improved already, but it's just getting your head around the forces more than anything. Like, it's hard to imagine what a race car can do, but then when you get it in your hands, you're like, oh my lord, this is a completely different scenario. But we have now got the starting positions here after qualifying, and it is Parker Kligerman then who got pushed to the top there by William Byron, but it is, well, top 3 for William Byron's team there with Benjamin Daly then. I told you he might be the kicker today. He's in 3rd. Tony Kanaan then is in 4th position, and actually the next 3 drivers are Team Lando, with Lando then in 5th, Robert Wickens in 6th position. Felix Rosenqvist then is in 7th. Rory Plays in 8th spot there. Connor Ball and Annemunition will be on the 5th row of the grid. Micky Blue and AP Ferg are in 11th and 12th position respectively.
Well, there you have it. That's the starting lineup. Gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. You're going to make the call here. Green flag coming up shortly. Here we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here then at Daytona around the oval circuit. And well, this could prove to be a very interesting race. Again, remember, this is just for fun. This is a showcase of the Logitech McLaren G Challenge. Again, the opportunity for you all to sign up is there. So make sure that you do indeed head over and get signed up. Give it a go. Again, some of you may have never done sim racing and taken it seriously, but this is your opportunity. You may not even know how fast you are in terms of the grand scale of sim racing. But here we go then. As you can see, there is a white and blue car at the front. So if you've never seen sim racing or motorsports before, that is the pace car. So there will be one full lap with the pace car in front, and then it will be Kligerman to take us away here around Daytona. You'll see the pace car pull away, and then it's up to him. Around Daytona, they kind of wait as long as they possibly can, but ultimately, they want to try and keep the pack nice and tight, and we really want to see 12 cars battling for position across this whole race, across the whole 25 laps, and then at the end, have a mad dash. Again, for everybody watching at home, the orange bonnets then are Team Lando, or the papaya, and then we've got the blue bonnets then, which is indeed Team Byron. I'm really excited for this, John. How are you feeling?
Oh, I can't wait for this to start. Having Team Byron as well lock out the first 3 spots on the grid. I know we mentioned before that this isn't quite as important as some other circuits, but still a really, really impressive effort there from Team Byron. I'm keen to see if they can carry this momentum into the race.
Absolutely. Well, this is now the first time for them to show off all that practice and see whether indeed it has paid off, really. Again, this is a big challenge for sim racers around the world who've got experience. So people who've never really done sim racing, to be put in with a cup car around Daytona, yeah, that is not easy at all. Again, very impressive to see how well they were indeed doing in qualifying, the fact that they were working together as well. We did see a couple of paint scrapes or paint swaps, a couple of dumps off the circuit, and yeah, the 2 cars involved. We absolutely will, but the 2 cars involved were never either 2 blues or 2 oranges. It was either blue versus orange or orange versus blue. So there is absolutely no love lost here. And there are 2 races, so 2 completely different disciplines. This is, of course, the first race, and it's around about 20 minutes of racing, 25 laps we will be doing here indeed. But it will be Kligerman to take us away. So we're just heading down the back straight here. John, any predictions from you?
I want to see Lando come back from 5th on the grid to finish on the podium. I'm a little surprised he qualified in 5th, but Kligerman, for me, he is looking the bee's knees today.
Well, I'll tell you what, ASAP Ferg, I've just seen, yeah, there he is. He is now taking up the pace car position. He will be told on his screen right now that he needs to get behind the car that he qualified behind, but he has definitely found 3rd and 4th gear now. He's also found the wall there, a little bit of tapping of the wall. But ASAP Ferg is taking it upon himself to go early here. It's not his right, but I'll tell you what, he's putting on the entertainment for the fans, and that is what it is all about here. Then the pace car will come in, and we are here for Daytona. Absolutely excited for this. ASAP Ferg, again, is in the lead of this race, but I think he might be black flag. He is off into the distance here, and I don't think he's too worried about it. Can he stay out in the lead, though? That is the question. Fair play to him. ASAP Ferg is trying to get to the finish line as soon as possible.
I really don't want a black flag for ASAP Ferg. I want to let him stay out there and see how long it takes the professional drivers to catch him. Look at it, he's concentrating so hard. He's managed to find the higher gears in the car. He's just going way, way earlier than he's supposed to. I don't actually know if he knows.
It doesn't matter who wins this race at this point. The real winner is ASAP Ferg in my eyes. Fair play to him. He is gone here. Be interesting to see. Well, they should have started by now, actually, so it'd be nice to see what is going on behind here. But as it stands, ASAP Ferg, I believe, should have on his screen again to go back behind other drivers, because it does tell you if you've gone wrong. But here we go. We are in and we are away then. And, well, it has been a very good start then for Kligerman by the looks of things. And we got the number 4 then in behind as well. And unfortunately, the numbers that we were given, they've changed the numbers, unfortunately, which is not ideal here, ladies and gentlemen. ASAP Ferg, though, who, again, is out in front on his own, he ultimately hasn't changed his number, but we know it's him there in the number 99. And again, I'm wondering whether he's going to get caught here, John.
It's brilliant how we're not 100% sure who the numbers are, but everybody watching the stream, everyone around the world goes, oh yeah, that's ASAP Ferg. We definitely know who's going on there. I haven't really seen any particularly off-track escapades yet further back, which might be a good sign. It looks like we might have had a broadly clean start. Curious to know if we're going to see a couple of cars just slowly start to move out. You can see a blue bonnet and orange bonnet alternating here as Team Byron maybe have lost a place or two on the first couple of laps.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that, doesn't it? It looks like we have got ourselves a Lando second, third, and fourth. And actually, you can see that a Byron car is trying to make his way up into the potential, or his or her way, up into a potential top three. But it is Lando versus Byron at the front here again. Hopefully, we'll get clarification as to who those drivers are. They are different numbers to what the drivers had selected prior to the show, so it doesn't make it any easier for us, that's for sure. But yeah, it looks like Robert Wickens is in the number 3, so he's currently in 3rd position, but he's lost a slipstream. It is like, as soon as you lose slipstream here, you're in trouble. It looks like he might just be behind or close enough, and actually it looks like he's in 5th position, so 2 cars have got away at the front here. And again, once you lose slipstream around here, John, it's so hard unless you can work together, very much like cycling. If you can work together with a group of cars, like a peloton, then you can be a little bit faster than the cars in front. But unfortunately, if you're working together in 2s, like, it's going to be very difficult to catch up to the lead. Although you can see that AP Ferg has been caught here, and again, he's running on his own, and you're going to see these 2 blast past him, and he now needs to tuck in behind them. Otherwise, he is in some serious trouble here. So if he doesn't tuck right in behind them, then it is all lost for him. And you can see just how much difference in pace there is when there's 2 people working together against 1 driver.
Just want to confirm there that AP Ferg definitely isn't still in 2nd gear, because take a look at that gap that's already formed between these 2 Team Byron drivers and AP Ferg. The rest of the grid are now starting to catch up, and I believe just behind them we've got Lando, who's made up a place. I think he's currently running in 4th position, and it might be moving into 3rd very shortly.
Yeah, I'm going to assume here that the front 2 are Kligerman and Byron. I'm going to make that assumption right now. Again, hopefully we get the clarification on the left-hand side of our screen. But I tell you what, it is an absolute car park in behind here, which is the battle for P3. Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, but it's still indeed the lead here for the 2 Byron teams. We are still green flag racing, as you can see, the big green there at the top left-hand corner. And we are actually now 20% through this race. We're on lap 5 then of 25. But as it stands, then 2 Byron cars then at the front here, and they are just very cleverly working together here, John. Neither of them are trying to indeed get into the lead here and get away. They're just working together, trying to build that gap here. But again, if the cars in behind, again, there's some Norris cars, there's some Byron cars, but if they can all work together, 5 cars versus 2, they will catch him.
This is very much the smart play here. At the end of the day, it might look a little bit boring if it's just the 2 cars and they're not jostling for position, but this is absolutely the fastest way for Team Byron to build an advantage over Team Norris here. And you can see Parker Kligerman just working together with his teammate, doing an absolutely brilliant job. No rash moves or anything like that. You don't want to unsettle the car in front, but right now they are squeezing every ounce of speed from those cars in front. And Team Norris, well, we need to see some sort of teamwork for them to try and catch up to these 2 in front. Otherwise, I think that gap's just going to grow even bigger.
Well, there we go. So it's Byron that leads the way, and Kligerman is in behind. We're on board with Kligerman, and you can see his mouth moving there. We can't hear him, but he is indeed using all the comms here. They're working together for sure. A little bit of bump drafting. And again, if you are new to oval racing, bump drafting is where you indeed use the slipstream to your advantage. You gain a bit more speed behind another car, but then in the straights and sometimes in the corners, if you're really, really brave, you just then go brush up against the car in front and you push them to make them go a little bit faster as well, which again, you can see them building the gap then. But Benjamin Daly, again, the kicker, as I was saying, he's in P3 right now. Then it is Norris, who've got 3 drivers then. Lando Norris, Robert Wickens, and then AP Ferg, who's in 6th position after an absolute flyer of a start. He has got unbelievable reactions, John.
Look, you called it, Luke, before the start of the broadcast today. The absolute kicker here, in fact, the joker in the pack, is Ben Daly, currently in a podium position. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this fight with Lando pans out by the end of the race. They are less than a 10th away. They are right up behind each other. This is going to be a really, really exciting fight. But Ben Daly is doing a tremendous job.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job right now, just holding his line, but inevitably he'll be in the wall at some point. And you can see that Lando is doing exactly the same as what William Byron and what Parker Kligerman were doing together, just bump drafting. Obviously Lando wants to get ahead of Ben here, but ultimately if they can work together, and they really need the help here of Wickens as well. Robert Wickens needs to indeed close up, and you should see him close up then during this long straight here indeed, because he's got the double toe on the cars in front. But also, it does become more difficult as the race goes on, John, because the oil temperature in the car. So if you keep running behind another car, you can then start to get your oil temperature overheat, and that's where you have a chance of the engine blowing up as well. So again, it's very, you just want to be in a lead. You want to be in a lead group here. You've got less to worry about. And ultimately, these, the group behind have to go absolutely nuts. But we're going to get a timing check very, very shortly. And I believe the gap now might be more than 2.1 seconds, which it was originally.
The gap is just continuing to increase here. Team Byron doing an excellent job out front. Absolutely no reason to change the game plan right now. If you can build a big lead going into the second half of the race, then okay, the job's not done yet, but my goodness, is it going to make the rest of the afternoon that much easier. These guys are performing a beautiful textbook job, and I think realistically looking in their rearview mirrors and going, what? We're ahead by this much? This is excellent.
You'd expect this, though. These two are both oval specialists. Of course, Byron is currently third in the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. That is, the top series in terms of oval tin-top racing. So you don't get much better than that, really. And then you've got Kligerman, who have indeed has got his own experience within that as well, especially within iRacing. As you can see, the gap now up to 4.1 seconds, so they're just not able to work to get... They're fending each other off here! The two leaders are gone! William Byron and Kligerman were doing so well, and all of a sudden now, Lando Norris is going to take the lead here. And I'll tell you, they had to get the victory. Byron had to get the victory here. It's his speciality. And while the two teammates have had to come in together, it's now gifted Norris the opportunity to lead this race. Daly and Wickens are also going to be there. And all of a sudden, Benjamin Daly becomes the most important driver for Byron's team.
Oh my God, we were talking about this earlier on how it's fantastic that they were working together. I think you said yourself, if you're really careful, we can even bump draft a little bit on the corners. And guess what? It doesn't look like it panned out on that occasion. No doubt that moment will be replayed at some point later this afternoon. But disaster for Team Byron as we approach the halfway point of our first race here. Advantage Lando Norris.
Well, they were very, very cleverly deciding to indeed swap positions, play a game of leapfrog, if you like, between the front two. But ultimately, it's a bit more high risk because all it takes is, one of you to just check up on the inside line as you do indeed let the other driver go through and ultimately clean each other out into the wall. And that is exactly what we've seen here. They had a 4-second advantage with, half the race to go?
Yep.
It makes much more sense for them to have just bump drafted to the end and maybe fought it out for the last couple of laps. We've got Lando here again looking very cool, calm and composed right now, and he is in dreamland right now because not only is he leading this race, this is the race that he wouldn't really have expected to win, considering he races in Formula One. The next race at Monza with the Dallara 01 is just absolutely up his street, so this is perfect. And you can actually see him talking here. He's using his experience within the racing, and he'll be talking to his teammate here, and he'll know that him and Wickens have to work together to try and get Benjamin Daly out of the running here for the lead.
Absolutely massive for Lando Norris right now. He started 5th on the grid, Luke, with oval specialists in front of him. Like, obviously Lando was going to be able to have a good race, but I'm not 100% sure he was expecting it to be this good. That said, the job is not done. Look at what happened to Team Byron. They were 1st and 2nd, and now like you say, it's all about pinning their hopes on Ben Daly, at least for the next section of this race. Ben's doing a good job of keeping with this leading pair, but how will Lando be instructing his teammate to disrupt Ben Daly? Is there anything practical they can do to try and gap that car?
Well, Wickens is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's just moving left and right there as they come through corners, trying to break the slipstream, trying to force a mistake from Daly. Maybe it's against sportsmanship here, but he's actually been caught on the high side. And ultimately, with these cars here, if you want to try and make a move, you need to have someone to work with. You can't just do it on your own, especially when you've got two teammates in front of you. Like these two, as soon as he makes one mistake by trying to go up high and he loses the slipstream, they will be gone. So he really needs to, again, he's not the most experienced in terms of NASCAR oval. He's very good with it when it comes to IndyCar oval. Like Daly needs to just stay with these two and then wait till the end. Try and get a really nice run. And actually the position he's in right now, not right underneath the rear wing of the cars in front, but maybe a car's length away. And that means he can get an ultimate run then on both drivers going into the final lap here. So, yeah, he's got to be clever. And you can see these two, again, getting very fruity is Wickens and Norris. And you see the smile on Wickens' face. Again, he is just taking the sim racing world by storm. Absolute legend in the car and obviously now in the sim racing world as well. But you can just see he's got a run here on Norris, but he's just not looking to make that move. This is probably what Wickens and Kligerman should have, sorry, not Wickens. This is what Byron and Kligerman should have done there. It says William Byron's got orange next to his name there. He is definitely not racing for Lando Norris. He's the captain of his own team. But yeah, to see that Kligerman and Byron have actually recovered nicely to be 4th and 5th here, it's not the end of the world for them. Let's talk about some drivers a little bit further down. We've got Rory Plays not had the best of times, 2 laps down as it stands. AP Ferg, who, well, what an entertaining fella he's been, that's for sure. Just drove off onto the distance and was leading this race. No one could ever take that away from him as well. As much as it might have been bending the rules, AP Ferg was a race leader at one point. Micky Blue then is on the lead lap, 43.4 seconds behind. If she could stay on the lead lap, that would be absolutely huge. Same for Annemunition and Connor Ball, because I'm telling you now, the leaders here, such good pace here, John. This is like proper, genuine, you know, maybe split 3 pace in terms of iRacing as a whole. And for people who've never really picked this game up and never really sim raced to be on a lead lap with drivers such as Lando Norris, Robert Wickens, Kligerman and Byron, like, that is incredible stuff.
Watching Tony Kanaan and Connor Ball also be within a tenth of each other, just Tony really helping Connor out there, trying to stay on the lead lap. Really nice to see. We're currently mainly seeing it on the timing screens, but absolutely love to see it. They're currently in 7th and 8th places as they try and make up some more. At the moment, it's a damage limitation exercise for Team Byron, who were 1st and 2nd, and now, unfortunately, it's Team Norris who occupy those positions. Earlier on, when we saw Robert Wickens as well, I think you mentioned his smile when we went to his camera. That was about a 1.5 seconds after he had a little bit of a close call with Lando, where I think Lando's car just a tiny bit of a slide coming back onto a straight, and they misjudged maybe that point a little bit, but not enough to send the cars out of control. Ben Daly still a couple of car lengths behind, very much keeping in touch with the leaders here. But right now in the midfield, this actually looks quite evenly split, Luke.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting it to be as close as it is. But yeah, in terms of the actual team event here, you've got what Lando's got P1, P2, P5, 7, 8, and then he's got 10 and 11. We've got 3, 4, 6. It's very, very tight in terms of the points when we do indeed come to the end of this. But for me, Ben Daly's doing a very, very good job here. He is just hanging around, not trying to push too far ahead, not trying to get into the lead here. He's maybe a little bit close now, but he wants to be around about car's width again. But you're going to start to see him with 5 laps to go. He's going to start to try and figure out how much he needs to be behind them as the last lap starts for him to be able to cross the line in front. And you're going to also see Robert Wickens and Lando Norris battle. So tell you what, it doesn't matter if they're on the same team here. They will want the outright victory 100%.
Getting into a position where you're able to do that coming into the final lap will be crucial. We mentioned earlier as well, Luke, that the tire temperatures are also going to play a bit of a factor here. I think the track temperature was north of 40 degrees Celsius, so they're basically going to be running on crepes by about this point in the race. We're 3/4 of the way through. How does the handling of the car change, and what do the drivers have to be watching out for at this point in the race?
You experience a lot more oversteer. Again, you see how high the banking is, and so basically your inputs become more with the car. So you're still putting the same input in terms of what you're feeling in your muscle memory, but the car's responding like a little bit worse to those inputs, so the rear would like to step out. So basically you've got to learn to either power through a slide, or also you've got to let off the gas. If you're in a train of cars and you let off the gas, you completely lose the slipstream. So again, it's about who's got the smoothest inputs here as well. And actually, you can see Benjamin Daly did just momentarily get ahead of Robert Wickens, as you can see on your screen. He's now into 2nd position. We're on board with Tony Kanaan, though, who indeed is helping his teammate here, Connor Ball, bass guitarist for the Vamps. And I tell you what, he has been very, if anything, the most impressive non-sim racing driver, considering he was mowing the lawn in practice. Today, he is absolutely trailblazing on circuit.
He's been doing all right. In fact, part of me wants to ask how they got into a position where they were nearly 30 seconds down, because I reckon Connor, with this sort of racecraft, could comfortably be mixing it up there. They must have gotten tangled or had to weave around a couple of cars early on and lost a bit of momentum, because him and Tony are working really, really well together, and I can't really fault what's going on track right now. These guys are doing a splendid job.
Yeah, I don't really know the history about Connor Ball and his love for motorsports. So I'm not too sure how big of a fan he was. But if he is half a fan of what I am, if you told him before the start of this whole event that he would be slipstreaming for 25 laps with Tony Kanaan, Oh man.
Oh, fight
that
for
is absolute
second.
Dream comes true. And yes, we do have a fight for second here. It looks like Lando has just gone off into the distance here, and Wickens now needs to be very careful. I think Wickens' tyres has completely gone off now. Benjamin Daly then doesn't even make it up into second spot. But if those two really do get involved with each other and start fighting, that will be where Lando could drive away. But as you can see, Daly got it done nice and cleanly, and he now sits himself right in behind Lando. Perfect position for him. And with 4 laps to go here, I don't think he'll want to go for... Oh, Lando is now binned in as well. All 3 of them. Oh, the poison chalice of leading the race here. And as they come across circuit, I'm not too sure who's going to lead. I think it might be Kligerman and Byron again. So they've had their big mistake. The front 3 now have had a big clean out. Lando just caught the apron there ever so slightly, and it sent them up high. And wow, it's like a game of Wii bowling at that point. And then Kligerman and Byron have just said, thank you very much for the gift again. What is going on?
We're playing Skittles at this point, Luke. I no longer have any idea what the points are going to be. Only 4 laps left to go. Now let's take a look at this one more time. And Lando getting caught, getting a little... Yeah, it was Daly on the back of Lando there. And unfortunately, that causes Lando to lose control. Everybody gets collected into the shopping trolley, please, folks. And that was all she wrote. So all of the front cars now needing to rejoin the race. And goodness knows what the order looks like now with 4 laps to go now.
Yeah, and also their tyres are going to be absolutely shot, without that spin there. Overheating the tyres in iRacing is the biggest killer of your performance and lap times and whatnot. But I believe now that's going to hand the lead back to Kligerman. So, yeah, ebbing and flowing in this race, absolutely. It's just anyone's game at this point in the world. You can see in the background there, there's more contact. There's 2 Norris drivers.
What was that for?
One of them's ended up off into the infield there at the Daytona Tri-Oval. That is not ideal. Very Lightning McQueen moment. Not sure they were able to save it like Lightning McQueen, though. And ultimately, that's another Norris car, I believe, out of the running here. And this is now, I believe, Byron and Kligerman for the race victory. And, well, if you'd said that to me 10 laps ago, I would have laughed at you because they were 7 seconds behind. And it is Kligerman that's leading. And I tell you what, William Byron will want the outright win here as well.
I don't know what you're talking about, Luke. They were leading the race, doing an excellent job of working together, and we cut back, 15 laps later, and they're still doing it. I don't see what the problem here is at all. It's like if you went away, took a look at the football for 15 minutes and came back, you'd be wondering, where's all the action? My God, have we had a lot of that, though, in the meantime.
Yeah, for sure here. You see Byron then, it's got Kligerman. You can see the closing speed here as well. Oh, he's going to be blindsided here. Needs to be very, very careful. But you can see the closing speed as we will indeed head onto lap number 25. Today, I think they're on lap 24 now. But yeah, lap 24 or 25. So they've just got 2 laps to go. And well, they were leading out nicely. And well, have they learned from the mistakes? And actually, there's a mistake there. By the looks of things, from Byron of all people. He's just checked up there, hit the wall, and that means Kligerman's going to drop through again. We hopefully will get the look at the leaderboard on the left-hand side of our screen very, very shortly. But right now, I think Kligerman's just taken the lead.
Kligerman wouldn't have, if you said to him earlier on in the race that he would retake the lead, I'm not 100% sure he would have believed you there. He's coming up on the back of Robbie Wickens the looks of things, so he could throw a spanner in the works here. Imagine that on the final lap.
Well, he's absolutely blocking here. Again, NASCAR rules in terms of lap vehicles isn't the same as European racing, let's say. Robert Wickens is using that to his advantage, although moving up a few times along a straight isn't really, it's definitely frowned upon regardless of where you're racing. As we head then along the back straight here, it looks like it may be a 1-2 for sure. And wow, Wickens there is trying to cause, oh wow, there's no cautions here, but that would have been trying to cause a caution. Very much a Carl Busch move as they come then around the final corner. And I think you'll find that Kligerman may have this, or is Byron going to make a little move up the inside? Again, you can't take... they're always going to be in 4th gear in terms of them trying to win races here. But I think Kligerman is going to take the spoils for Byron. And it's going to be a 1-2, maybe a 1-2-3 with Wickens there a lap down. But I tell you what, John, that was full of incident and full of fantastic racing. And, well, what a way to kick off things here for the Logitech McLaren G Challenge.
It was Team Byron, then it was Team Norris, then it was Team Byron again. What an exciting race we had here. No way we would have been able to predict any of this. And possibility of a little bit of drama on the last lap. I believe this is an in-lap now, so we're all good. But that was absolutely thrilling. And I feel like if I'm Team Norris right now, Lando will be having a chat with his team saying, we had an opportunity there to potentially clean this one up because we thought that Monza is our track. We're not necessarily oval specialists. Let's get some points here. And getting first and second would have been such a huge boon for them. But it's William Byron at the end of the day and Patrick Kligerman who take home the goods.
Yeah, and well, they would not have been expecting that after them two having to come in together as well. Their blessings have been saved. Their ego's been saved a little bit as well. But they ultimately did indeed get the result. But anyway, let's head back and speak with Heather.
Well, that was exciting and definitely fun to watch. Both times my hands went over my face when the leaders took each other out. Both teams, we saw it first with Parker Kligerman and William Byron, then we saw it again with Team Norris there. They thought they had a shot just like you guys mentioned, but man, oh man, Team Byron pulled it out there at the end. It's very fun to watch this, and if I'm watching from home as a viewer like you guys, I would definitely get involved in the Logitech McLaren G challenge. If anything else, you could just have fun, right, guys?
Absolutely. I mean, this is, look, we have some fun, some thrills and spills, also some really excellent racing there. So in between the crashes and the crazy changes, it has actually been a lot of fun. And anyone watching at the moment can get involved. So please do. And we've basically got the rest of the year to try and find the fastest drivers in the world to bring to Vegas.
For sure, and I think we're gonna get some replays here shortly for you guys to look at. Here we go, from Daytona, our race. Let's check out these replays. I know we had some really good moments here.
AP Ferg with move of the day there initially. Yeah, went off and he got half a lap distance on everybody. But here's the first incident then. So we had Kligerman and Byron who were absolutely clear through, and it was Byron that hit the apron. But here, this is the second incident with Norris and Benjamin Daly. Daly just had too big of a run on Norris, gave him a little shove, he hits the apron, and they clean out Robert Wickens as well, which then gave Kligerman and indeed Byron the lead again. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It's almost like we scripted it.
Maybe the MVP here is Ben Daly after all, actually, Luke. Maybe Ben helped swing the points inadvertently in Team Byron's favor. Maybe even more than we would have thought at the start of the race.
AP Ferg for me. Sorry, that is the best move I've ever seen. He caught everybody napping. No one had any clue. It was just like a real sneaky move. Oh, we've got no penalties today? Yeah, I'm all for this. Bye.
It was a really solid performance. And further down the field as well, watching Connor Ball and Tony Kanaan work together to hopefully score some decent points for Team Norris while it was all kicking off up ahead. That was really good to watch as well. A little bit less of an eventful race for them, but certainly a fruitful one.
Yeah, Micky Blue finishing on the lead lap as well. I think that's huge in terms of who she's racing against. Like, these are some of the very best. Like, Lando Norris, regardless of what he's doing in Formula One right now, he is one of the very best at iRacing. So to be, it's still on the lead lap. Okay, there was a couple of incidents for that to help, but to be on the lead lap after being petrified in practice, yeah, hell of a job.
It's going to be interesting to see how the points are going to pan out here as well, because we had a Byron 1-2, then we had a Norris 1-2, and then a Byron 1-2 again at the end of the race. But truth be told, we were following the race leader. That basically was just before the last lap. We don't necessarily know how the field panned out behind the front two cars. So even though Team Byron took the checkered flag, we don't actually know what the points total is going to be until everything gets added up.
Absolutely, and Team Byron took that win with William Byron and Parker Kligerman bringing it home 1-2. But now we're going to welcome in one of the drivers from their team, Annemunition. Welcome to the show. It's been fun watching you. How did it go for you? I mean, your skill sets, you aren't normally the shooting games on the streaming that you do, but this was a whole different playing field for you today.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I have almost no idea what any of you are saying. You guys are using so many, like, even my team, they're like, I'm gonna do this and you do this and we'll make note of this, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna try to turn left and not crash, and it worked out. So
definitely
absolutely fantastic stuff in the first race. And how was the learning experience, especially with your teammates, maybe some of the more established racers? How much were they able to help you while you were practicing for the event?
They were great. I had a lot of questions about like there's a lot of rules on the track that you don't, if you don't follow racing or if you don't play, iRacing games and stuff like that, there's a lot of rules and things that you have to be aware of. Otherwise, you get penalties. And so I had a lot of questions about how do I, safely do this, and what gear are you guys in for this next one? Next one is a tough track, and so I had a lot of questions about what gear should I be in, how fast are you guys going around these corners, and they were super helpful. Really nice guys.
I thought you did really, really well, considering your lack of experience with sim racing. Maybe you should have listened to maybe ASAP Ferg and just go when you want, because he decided to just take the lead at the start. What were you expecting coming into this, and what do you feel you've gained from this experience?
Honestly, I'm really happy with how I performed in that last race, because I had very low expectations of myself personally. I expected that everyone else, you know, they're all like, a lot of these guys are professional drivers and they're all really great. And so I'm hoping the next one I've practiced quite a lot, and maybe I shouldn't say that in case things go wrong, because I've really tried to learn the track and learn, you know, what gear I should be in and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that the next one goes well. And so far, I mean, this is a new experience for me, but I've had a lot of fun. This is really cool.
Absolutely. Well, I believe in you, Annemunition. You said you practice. I think you're going to take the win in the next race. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate the confidence.
Yep. Have some fun.
Thank you.
All right, here are our final results from Daytona. There you see it. Parker Kligerman took home the win. And the final results here, guys, break it down.
Oh, I mean, I was trying to dice this up, saying we were not 100% sure what was going on behind. But Luke, I am absolutely stood corrected. First, second, third, fifth, and sixth for Team Byron. Quite honestly, I don't think it could have gotten much better if we were to take a look at this results board and those points distributed. Yeah,
Byron will be very, very happy there. And again, they've kind of just got away with one in terms of their incident that he had, or the incident he had with Kligerman as well. So yeah, they've got away with one, but Norris has now got his strength. We head to a racetrack, which we do indeed turn right on, which will favour him. So yeah, it's still all to play for sure.
Absolutely. And we want to thank our sponsors once again, Splunk, Logitech, and McLaren, for putting together this program for us here today. But coming up next, we are going to take it to Monza for the qualifiers, and they're going to be racing a Dallara IR01. This time, they're turning left and right. Stick around.
Yo, I look so insane.
You're basically an F1 driver now.
Oh, somebody crashed. Let's get it. Oh my gosh.
DQ'd. Reckless driving, what?
Nah, you've been driving the wrong way.
It's not me. Nah.
Well, nah.
Okay, yeah, cool. I'm kind of back. I had a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I saw. Oh, Robbie with a beautiful exit. Oh, side by side into turn one. Is there going to be a big shunt? Oh! Oh, you're nice on the brakes there, Robbie. I thought you were going to miss the corner by a mile. Me too. You braked so late.
You're still behind us, right?
I am, yeah. Yeah, he hit the wall.
I see you guys occasionally.
These Dallaras are really strong.
I build a tough race car.
We're very civil at the moment. Let's see how long it lasts. Feeling any dirty air behind me?
Not really.
What?
No, okay, now I'm on the other side. Okay, that's where you start going.
Attention racing enthusiasts, the wait is over. So sit down, strap in, and start your engines. This is the Logitech McLaren G Challenge. This video will explain everything you need to know on how to race your way into the grand finals. First, let's break down the basics. There are 4 regions: North America, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. That's over 170 countries. Each region will have their own stock car, sports car, and open wheel challenge. Open wheel and stock car challenges will be racing on iRacing, and the McLaren 720S Sports Car Challenge will be racing on Assetto Corsa Competizione. The season starts in July and goes through November. Each region will compete through 5 rounds of monthly races. Each round will consist of a qualifying period and a live race broadcasted on Twitch. So now that you've got the basics down, let's dive even further. Where do you begin? One word: qualifier. Anyone can participate on your own schedule. Set your best lap time in any challenge. Drive to the limit and get your best lap submitted. This is your chance to qualify for the monthly round races. So, are you fast enough? If the answer is yes, then you'll move forward to the monthly round races. Every month in every region, the top 30 drivers from the open wheel, stock car, and sports car challenges will race for a shot at reaching the semi-finals. To reach the semi-finals, you must get a podium position in one of the monthly races or accumulate enough points throughout the season. The top 30 make it in. So, the top 3 from each race in each region and the points leaders move on to the semi-finals. Over 100 drivers have a chance to win a trip to the grand finals weekend. All right, you've made it to the semi-finals, but you haven't crossed the finish line yet. In each region, 30 drivers will race for a chance to win a trip to the grand finals weekend. So, if you're one of the lucky ones that makes it this far, you now have a chance to win it all. Because only the fastest drivers from each region will get sent to the Grand Finals weekend in Las Vegas, a 4-day, 3-night trip to Sin City, including an on-track supercar driving experience. The Grand Finals weekend will be a massive, in-person sim racing community event where drivers will put pedal to the metal and compete on stage in front of a live audience cheering you to victory. Want to be part of this but didn't qualify? Compete in a wildcard event for another chance to make it. More information and locations are at logitechgchallenge.com. Winners of the stock car, open wheel, and sports car grand finals will win a McLaren Racing VIP experience, including a 4-day, all-expenses-paid trip to London, a tour of the McLaren Technology Centre, coaching from Lando Norris, and a behind-the-scenes tour with McLaren during the Formula One British Grand Prix in 2022. So pull out of the garage and onto the track, and join us for the world's largest sim racing competition with the 2021 Logitech McLaren G Challenge.
Welcome back to the Logitech McLaren G Challenge Pro-Am event. If you're just joining us and seeing that video for the first time, that is correct. You too can get involved in the action. John, it's such an incredible program. I just cannot wait for it to officially kick off.
I definitely love the program. That voice also sounded suspiciously familiar, but anyone at home can participate. Really, really important to mention this. We, of course, are watching some of the pros, the influencers, the personalities race today, but you guys can get involved at home as well. We had stock cars. We're going to have open wheel. You can also race in sports cars, and it's all the way through to the end of the year. Anybody can punch their ticket to the Vegas Grand Finals.
And Luke, what are you most looking forward to for this G Challenge series coming up?
I'm really excited to see that there's going to be one or two drivers that are going to qualify on multiple different disciplines, and I'm really excited to see them come through. But what really excites me about the G Challenge is I've been involved in this since the very beginning, and it's seeing new names come through. And most of the time, we have a new name come through the championship, but also go on to win a championship. And of course, now being on two different games to what we've done previously, I'm expecting to see the very same. So the birth of a new star is absolutely what I'm looking forward to.
Well, earlier today, we took a look at Team Lando driver Tony Kanaan, but now we're going to switch gears and take a closer look at a team member from Team Byron, and that's Annemunition. Check it out.
Oh my God! Oh my God! What just happened?
My name is Annemunition. I am a full-time content creator, which means that I live stream video games to an audience online, and I'm from Southern California. I kind of grew up around cars. My grandfather was really into rebuilding and working on old cars, and when I was a kid, he had like a big garage with all sorts of different cars in it. And he and my brother actually rebuilt a 1967 Mustang. And so that was kind of something that I just grew up around. And I don't really have a racing background specifically, but I've always really loved cars in general. And I'm excited to be a part of this. Normally, I play a lot of first-person shooters, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, Escape from Tarkov. Those are my main things. I think there are different types of gamers, and for me specifically, I'm one of those people who I like to try something and to see improvements in myself. And I can already feel myself where I'm just like determined, like I'm gonna practice, I'm gonna be better at this, I'm not gonna spin out on all the corners, like I'm gonna learn how this works. And even if I'm not gonna become a professional racer over the next, couple weeks, I hope that I will at least be able to stay on the track. I'm excited to have something that I can kind of share with my brother. I was already thinking like, oh, which cars is he gonna like? Which cars can I try so that I can talk to him about it? And it bridges the gap between someone like myself, who is kind of a very casual fan of cars and of racing, between someone like me and him, he's much more knowledgeable about all of it. And I feel like there's a lot for me to learn. When Logitech first approached me to ask if I wanted to be a part of this event, I thought it was really awesome to put actual professional drivers against or with people like myself. I think my team has a lot of really talented drivers. So make sure you guys tune in to the Pro-Am race. I'm going to spend some time practicing with my new racing wheel and get better at this so that Team Byron doesn't have me just spinning out on all the corners. And make sure you guys watch to cheer me on and make sure that I don't go off into the sand pits.
Well, that was Annemunition, and we spoke to her earlier. She did excellent in the Daytona race, and in that little package there, she said she's motivated and determined to do really well in these events. She even said she's practiced really hard, and she thinks she's going to do better at Monza, which we have the qualifiers coming up next, guys. I got my money on her. I think she's going to do great. What do you think, John?
Completely agreed. I think that we saw Annemunition's personality and focus really shine through in her interviews. I said before the start of the first race, even if she's not that experienced a sim racer, she's the kind of person who I would say, here's a wheel, you've got 10 hours. And I can think of very few people who would improve as quickly as she could. So she did pretty decently in Daytona. She said that Monza might actually be even better for her. Obviously, it's a contact sport. Other people might unfortunately come in contact with her, and that could end up ruining races. But all things considered, I'm expecting some good stuff from Annemunition here, and I think she's done superbly so far.
Absolutely. And now we have the qualifiers here, Luke. This is kind of your specialty, I would say, so kind of take us away on what we should expect to see here at Monza.
Well, I actually commentated at Monza in real life a couple of weeks ago. It's the first of the season within DTM, so yeah, I'm pretty well acclimatized to this place now. But this is a little bit of a different car. in terms of the oval, it's kind of maybe a little bit easier to pick up for people who have not got that much experience, but this car is an absolute animal, and it's really to do with the torque of the car. If you put your foot down just ever so slightly too quickly or a bit too much pressure, and you will completely lose the car, and that is, well, potentially game over. So yeah, this is a whole different discipline, as we've been saying here, and we may potentially see different people near the front. I'm expecting to see a Norris and Kanaan fight here, if I'm completely honest, but then we've had surprises already today. Who knows what's going to happen?
Now, it seems like these cars obviously are a little bit different from the stock cars that we just saw, being that they are open wheel. So I don't believe, is it fair to say, would you say that they're not going to be able to bump into each other quite as much, right, John?
Absolutely not. You don't want to, I guess, damage is off, so you're not at risk of losing a front wing or anything like that. But these cars are so dependent on downforce. The last thing you want to do is lose a little bit of traction or lose that flow of air, allowing you to go around a corner at certain speed. If you lose that and suddenly the same speed you were at the previous lap sends you off the track on the next lap. So you have to be quite disciplined, leave a little bit of space, and also judge when you're going to be able to come up behind a car and pull up alongside. The dirty air from a car in front can wreak havoc with the trailing car going into the corners.
Yeah, you've also got to kind of recognize that you don't necessarily need to be as quick as the leader of the race. You can be sort of 4, 5, and even with these cars, maybe even a second slower over the course of a lap time. But there's so many long straights. You've got the long run then from Parabolica, which is the final corner, down in towards turn number 1. Then you've got Curve Grande into the second chicane. And then you've got the long run up towards Ascari. And then you've got the long run down into Parabolica. So, yeah, it's only 11 corners around here. It's very much a slipstream fest as well. But if you can absolutely nail the technical parts, which aren't overly difficult, it's all about really mastering the curves. You've got a genuine chance of just hanging in behind someone who's a bit faster and utilizing their pace in front of you.
In fairness, Luke, 11 corners, way more than what we just had.
Yeah, that is for sure. And also they're turning in a different direction as well. And that is another challenge in itself, weight transfer of a car. So ultimately, we've just seen there, well, there we go. Nice little bit of argy-bargy there. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Yeah, just on to the next one. But yeah, through the corner, you see the difference in change in direction. So you turn in right, and then you turn in left. But you've got to kind of wait for the car to settle. And the only way you can figure that out is feel through the wheel. So you kind of just got to get repetitions and understand the way the car is going to indeed move underneath your steering inputs. But again, it's open wheel, very similar to the NASCAR. It's all about very minimum inputs and being very smooth with the wheel.
And you guys talked about it, 11 turns here. Now that sounds like a little bit more than I would want to memorize, where my braking points are, entry points, and things like that. So what do you think the best technique into remembering this circuit here at Monza, John?
Practice, practice, practice. It sounds like 11 turns is a lot. And as soon as you come onto the track for the first time, especially if you don't have a sim racing background, you get to see some rather interesting theatrics like we just saw over there at the chicane. But I guarantee within 10 or 20 laps, you'll be remembering, oh, this comes next, this comes next. And before you know it, you've got the layout of the circuit memorized, and then you go to the next level. You go, okay, now that I know the layout, where are my braking points? Where can I vary my line? Maybe I can try something a little bit differently to squeeze a tenth or two out of this corner. And all of those become possible surprisingly quickly. So yes, it's more difficult to learn, but it becomes second nature surprisingly quickly.
Or you could just use the car in front of you to brake. That's always seems to be the way at Monza, especially through turn number 1. So there's multiple ways of doing it, but the second one definitely frowned upon within the world of sim racing. But from what we saw in race number 1, anything's possible here. The only thing that will differ today is that AP Ferg will not be able to drive off straight off the bat here and get half a lap lead, because it is a standing start this time. Although he will try, no doubt, it's not going to be a possibility.
I think teams are going to be a little bit worried about having one car straight behind the other and using them as a brake. We saw twice in that last race, leading to first and second place, moving down the pack. So they're going to be even more wary of that this time around.
So if you
also,
can't get...
with the high torque I was mentioning, Heather. Sorry, Heather.
Yeah, no, you're okay. Go ahead. No problem.
With the high torque of these cars, you can spin these cars on the exit of corners in sort of 4th and 5th gear. It's not just off the line. Off the line is going to be absolutely key. You've got to be so level with your throttle input. And what I mean by that is you just cannot go from no throttle input to 100% straight off the bat, because the rear wheels are going to spin out. And we saw that in the practice video where cars straight off the line are just turning into another car on the left or the right of them. So you need to be really, really careful. You can't have a lead foot. But again, the fact that you can do that in 4th and 5th gear, the start is absolutely vital here.
For sure. What I was going to actually ask you is, since AP Ferg can't get that head start like he did at Daytona, what kind of trick do you think he has up his sleeve to get an advantage here? John, how about you first?
I think it's got to be a blistering qualifying lap followed by weaving like a mobile chicane down to the first corner, tactically taking out a couple of opponents. I mean, you're not going to be able to put distance between you and the other cars like you did in Daytona. So let's use the closeness to our advantage here. Maybe we'll see that instead.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got some tricks up his sleeve, but again, I'm not too sure. I certainly didn't expect to see what he did in race number 1. So for me to be able to pick out what tricks he's had, definitely not going to be able to. He'll be keeping them secret, that's for sure. But again, I'm just hoping for a really entertaining race here. You know, a lot of the drivers who finished maybe in the mid-pack will be expecting to finish a little bit higher. And ultimately, just want to end this event. A lot of these people may never do sim racing again, or, you know, they may do it a little bit more casually in the future. And they kind of just want to leave their mark on this now and go, do you know what? I gave it absolutely everything there. I entertained, my fans, people that have maybe never seen me before, and ultimately just have a feel-good factor about the whole event.
Absolutely. And definitely, you never know, they might actually become avid racers now, which I think would be kind of cool.
It would be absolutely wonderful to get more and more people involved. And we just saw from Annemunition as a textbook example of someone coming in aware of racing, but not really properly throwing 100% of their weight behind the ring until now. And look how quickly she's improved. Like, this is absolutely fantastic to see from her.
And also, she mentioned her brother as well, and like, there's no bigger rivalry than a sibling rivalry. So, maybe they're both going to get involved here, and yeah, maybe next year we're going to see Annemunition in the competition. Who knows?
Now we're following some drivers through the S's there. What do you think the best way to get through there is? I've seen someone just take a total shortcut and not even go through the turn at all. Do you think we'll see a lot of that, Luke?
Just close your eyes, hope for the best, and yeah, it's pretty much it. Especially Ascari is such a tough corner, and it's all about maximizing the momentum on the exit, because you've got that long straight. If you go through there slow, if you go through there in too high a gear or anything like that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble and under a lot of pressure. As we see a barrel roll there on cue, beautiful bit of work onto 4 wheels. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give it a 6.7 as a dismount was a little bit poor, but yeah, very good flip there in the air. I would like to apologize for the API. Unfortunately, we're having a couple of issues technically with the timings. As soon as it gets figured out, though, we will indeed have the times there, but it doesn't matter when you've got barrel rolls happening all over the place.
That looks like that might have been William Byron. You gave it a 6.7. John, what's your score on that tumble?
Well, we're going to see a lot more of them as well, because like the drivers are showing us now at the Ascari chicane, but also elsewhere across the lap, you have these massive sausage curbs that you might have seen as the cars go by. And when you accidentally cut the track, either out-braking yourself or otherwise, and you go across those big, scary black and yellow curbs there, they hurt, and you go airborne, as you just saw. So the opportunity to try and be a little bit more adventurous with your cornering and gain some time. My God, it's an obstacle course. I didn't realize we were playing Fall Guys today, but these guys are really trying to explore the limits of the track right now, and any minor disturbance, well, you know what? That's way more than a 6.7. That's got to be 8.5 plus. That was a strong quadruple.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be too worried about the score being given. I'm more worried about the concussion they've just received. Wow, that was very impressive indeed. That's, yeah, you don't want to be in VR for one of those things, that's for sure. I don't think any of our drivers are. We just saw Felix Rosenqvist, who we haven't really spoken about too much today, and I'm expecting big things from him in the open wheel. He's actually a Macau GP winner twice, and Macau GP is very well known for being, well, a bit of a cluster. And so he'll maybe dodging minefields is kind of his thing. This could potentially be, especially in turn 1, that kind of race.
Absolutely. Well, qualifiers are just finishing up, so let's take a closer look at this open wheel competition here at Monza. Let's see the weather and commentary here from Luke.
Well, it's, again, 40 degrees, which should help the start, really. It means that I'll have a little bit more temperature in the tyres because of the track temperature, of course. Again, it's the same weather as we had previously. But it is all about just getting that power down. With the NASCAR, we saw that it's a rolling start, so you've kind of got a helping hand in terms of being able to get, you already got input going into the car as it goes green. Here, they're from a standing start, and is just a challenge all in itself. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of cars ending up the wrong way round, like a very happy dog chasing its tail. But ultimately, yeah, just get that power down, learn from all the practice you've been doing. And if we get all 12 come through turn number 1 unscathed, well, it'll be an absolute miracle.
That's true. I mean, we've seen a lot of miracles already here, based in Daytona, and then to Monza. We saw a couple different dismounts that we liked. I just hope somebody sticks the landing here. But we're just going to watch a couple more replays of some qualifiers, and we'll get a qualifying order for you. But for the viewers at home, they still have an opportunity to join the Logitech McLaren G Challenge, and I know that we want to get them involved. So, John, once again, tell them a little bit more about the program.
Really simple. If you like the open wheel racing that you are seeing on screen now as we're watching the warm-up before the race, or if you prefer stock cars, or if you even want to try the sports car discipline, or maybe even more than one, absolutely not a problem. It's LogitechGChallenge.com, where you can enter the challenges set every single month. You basically get to race all the way until the end of the year, where the fastest drivers in every region will stamp their ticket to Las Vegas for our grand finals. This is only the beginning. The entertainment that you're seeing today and the fantastic racing, as well as the hilarious bloopers you're seeing today, this is all just the start.
And these two teams going up against each other certainly are going to want those bragging rights. We saw Team Byron get a lot of points at Daytona, but Team Norris looking to make a bounce back here at Monza. Luke, you've said that they've got some drivers on that team that you believe will do well. Do you think they can get it done?
Yeah, absolutely. Lando Norris is, you know, in terms of open wheel and around European circuits, well, he's currently the 4th best driver in the Formula 1 Championship, which is absolutely ridiculous, and had an unbelievable result just this weekend. So he's on a high. But as we look at the qualifying here, I said Rosenqvist might be the one to watch out for. He is on pole position ahead of Lando Norris. Norris is exceptional at iRacing and in the open wheel cars. So that is a hell of a lap there from Rosenqvist. We've got Robert Wickens then, who is in 3rd. Parker Kligerman, winner from race 1, in 4th position. Then on to the 3rd, where we've got Tony Kanaan, who I'm expecting to go up through the order for sure here. Benjamin Daly, who is very good when it comes to open wheel cars, has a very successful YouTube series with Formula 1. We then got Connor Ball, again, who's been the surprise package, really, of the series today. He's ahead of William Byron, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Then we've got Rory Plays ahead of Annemunition. And then we've got AP Ferg and Micky Blue, but we know that AP Ferg is probably going to end up in the lead at some point anyway.
He's going to find a way, that's for sure. Gentlemen, this is going to be a fun race to watch. I'm excited to listen to your call. They're going to finish up this warm-up lap, and then we're going to do a from the stop start here at Monza. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, well, we're just in a warm-up phase here for Monza, and then we will indeed head to the race. And there's some vital practice here, but it's actually Byron and a Norris driver battling with each other here. So this is indeed going to be invaluable when it comes to the race. And I don't know, I'm just really excited for this one, John. I'll tell you what, that is just impressive once again. And, well, I'm giving that maybe a 7. And, well, there's a bit of, retribution there straight away. Normally you have to wait for another lap to get that sort of retribution in, but straight away on the exit of the 2nd chicane. And, again, as we saw in the oval stuff, John, no love lost between the two teams, that's for sure.
It's a lot more grass mowing there around the outside. Maybe that's Connor Ball that we're seeing in this tussle, but quite clearly they haven't had enough of it yet. Want to practice their racecraft just a little bit. These two cars, by the way, for different teams, in case that wasn't obvious before to the viewers at home. We've got one from Team Norris and one from Team Byron, just snaking their way around Monza. And I say that because even on the straights, they're busy trying to take chunks out of each other. Oh, God, that is not the fastest line round the chicane.
Yeah, Rosenqvist has just been absolutely cleaned out there, the number 94. But it have been called now to grid up. So they've got themselves now 2 minutes to grid up. I'm sure they'll grid up a little bit earlier there. But if you've ever raced in iRacing, you know that there's always one person that will wait the full 2 minutes. They've got to fluff their special pillow, or they've got to make their favorite drink, or maybe they've just got to go and relieve themselves. I don't know. But there's always one that you're waiting for.
The right cocktail is extremely important, I think, when it comes to sim racing. What's your cocktail of choice pre-start?
Well, I don't ever drink and drive, John, because I'm a respectable adult. But some of the races I've been in iRacing, it would appear that a lot of people like a cocktail. So, yeah, very interesting to say the least here. They are lining up now, though, John. And, well, it is a very surprise pole, indeed, with Felix Rosenqvist there at the front. And well, I'm excited to see how well that goes. Hopefully, we do indeed have the timing on the left-hand side of the screen, because the liveries are a little bit more difficult to tell the difference at a quick glance. And these cars are very, very quick indeed. So yeah, anyone's guess as to who's going to be where. But ultimately, as long as we get some entertainment like race number 1, it doesn't really matter. As they are now revving their engines. Here we go. I think we're about to go. Well, someone's made a little jump start there. A couple of people have gone early here, and that is not ideal. Now they get going, and well, do they all get going in a straight line? Again, a little bit better than in practice. You did see someone riding then over another car at the start there. And Lando Norris then from second on the grid has got up to the lead here. Rosenqvist nearly cleans him out through the back there. As they come through the first chicane, it's a very clean start for them both. Got someone there taking the escape road there, and instead of potentially taking other people out. The front three have kind of got away here, but you can see that Rosenqvist then is going to try and get back up into the lead of this race as soon as possible. Had a bit of slipstream through Curve Grande. Lando Norris then just tucks in behind to get a bit more slipstream. He missed a braking point there. Rosenqvist then's going to make the move through the second chicane, and now he should get a bit of a gap there to play with. And well, it looks like it is a Rosenqvist lead here. Lando Norris down into third after starting second, but everybody got through turn number 1 nice and cleanly.
Absolutely right there, Luke. A really nice move by Lando down the inside into the first corner. There were no particular dramas, just got a better start. But Rosenqvist did a beautiful job of taking Lando back into the chicane. Lando wasn't quite ready to give up the position yet, but unfortunately yielded just a little bit too much to the inside. Couldn't quite make the turn. And now he finds himself in a distant third, having to play fight back. And this is only lap number 1.
Yeah, for sure. You can see he's got a couple of cars in behind him as well, very quickly going to catch up down towards Parabolica. We just saw Robert Wickens there go off as well through the second, or through the Lesmos actually. So that is obviously not ideal. Again, this is probably the most similar circuit in Europe to oval racing in terms of the long straights and keeping in the slipstream. But right now, Rosenqvist has done exactly what he needs to do. He's out in the lead here, and he is looking very strong indeed. A little bit of a lock-up there of the rear right, and I'm not too sure who that is in second position. Again, we will get an update in terms of the number of the car. But as we come around Curve Grande for the second time, Felix Rosenqvist, who, hate to say it, I did actually predict this, is doing very well indeed.
You hate to say you got a prediction right. That'll be the day. But this is, to be honest, you're absolutely spot on here, Luke. I think Felix has done tremendously well. He maybe didn't quite have the race he would have wanted to in Daytona, but knowing the score between Team Byron and Team Norris coming into Monza, they're going to be so unbelievably pleased that they're first and second, because they've got a healthy points lead that they need to protect here. And if they outscore Team Norris here, William Byron and co will win this Pro-Am. So lots of points on offer here, currently being locked out by this very impressive front row.
Yeah, the greatest thing about these events is they'll all go, oh, it's so much fun, and oh yeah, we don't really care who wins. They absolutely care who wins. Yeah. Especially, you cannot turn a racing driver off here. And actually, it is Kligerman then, winner from race 1, currently in second position again. A lot of experience with iRacing, so I would be expecting him to actually keep with Rosenqvist, but Rosenqvist has got a nice lead here, and he's actually going to be out of the tow here. So Kligerman is not going to gain any of that slipstream in front. Again, he might maybe just getting a little bit, but ultimately he's not going to be affected by it in the corners, which is really, really important. So again, slipstream, if you're really close, you're going to be gaining a lot in a straight line, but ultimately you will indeed lose time through the corners because of the jet wash air. What I mean by jet wash air is air that's just going all over the place, like one of those, what you see at car dealerships, one of those, I don't know what they're called, the like floppy cheese string things, I don't know, the happy guys, whatever you want to call them, the dancing air things, I don't know, but yeah, that's basically what's happened to the front of the car. You completely lose downforce, and that means you can't get the front of the car turned in. But ultimately, I think you'll find that Kligerman's far enough back here to gain the advantage in a straight line, but he's not losing much through the corners.
Floppy
I explained that really well, by the way.
Floppy cheese strings is now my official new life motto. 110%. What are you going to do? Floppy cheese strings. We'll just wing it. It'll be fine. But at the moment, I'm looking for a way for Team Norris to fight back. We need to be able to see a little bit of recovery here. And honestly, we're actually settling down at the moment as opposed to contesting that many of those places. And we need to see some drama, I think, for the momentum to shift into Team Norris's favor. At the moment, things are looking pretty steady as she goes, and we might start to have to look towards the midfield for whether Team Norris can make up some points, try and grab a couple of those positions away and steal some crucial momentum away from Team Byron.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more there. Do you know what? You could give me maybe a couple of weeks and I'm still not going to figure out what I was trying to say there.
Floppy cheese strings. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
Floppy cheese
I would
strings.
just stick with that. Floppy cheese strings. Yeah, that'll do. So we've got the number 24 there in third position. But again, the list that we were given earlier, there is no number 24. So these drivers have again chosen a different number to what they chose earlier with their practice, which again isn't very helpful. Unfortunately, again, shout out to Rado, who did indeed give us the information. I feel sorry for her because she's gone out of her way to help us out, and the drivers have gone, yeah, we're going to change our number. That's cool. Through the Lesmos, then we come, and well, we're aboard then with William Byron, and he's currently in fourth position here, trying to close the gap. And yeah, very much got to slip you. Oh dear, that's a big one. That's a big one. That's Felix Rosenqvist. He's absolutely binned it there on the exit of the Lesmos. And now all of a sudden he's not in the lead, and it just is a poison chalice right now. If you lead the race, you're ultimately going to make a mistake at some point. And I think now that Kligerman is in the lead here, he's actually catching up potentially to lap some cars as well here on lap number 4, nearly lap number 5. But Kligerman, winner of race number 1, is now in the lead, I believe, for race number 2.
Richard Branson is on the line, and he said that if you're going to get one of those tickets on Virgin Galactic to go up into space, you have to pay for it. So Rosenqvist there, unfortunately, getting into all sorts of trouble. And what confused me there, Luke, as well, let's take a look, because this is basically coming into a straight as well. How did he get it? He must have been bumped from behind or something, because by that point, the car should just be in a straight line.
Yeah, so for me, the biggest, so there was no other car around him, so that definitely hasn't happened. But he has grabbed too much curb on the exit. It's then sent him over to the right-hand side of the circuit, and as soon as you touch the grass, it's like you've got no friction on the tyres at all. So the right-hand side of the car is just going to spin up, spin up, spin up. The left-hand side is just going to be doing normal traction here. And oh dear, another spin then from another leader. So that is going to be Kligerman spinning here as well now. And again, not too sure who that is now in the lead here. But I think Byron's just binned it as well. And, well, it'll be interesting to see who is leading this race as they come up towards the end here. It says Felix Rosenqvist still is, but I'm not too sure if he is. At this point, I have no idea what's going on. But basically, half the car's trying to go 1,000 miles an hour, half the car's trying to do 150 miles an hour. And, well, one side of the car's going to win there, turns you around, and, well, the rest is history. Went up in the air, spun 84 times. And, well, just if you're going to do it that way, do it properly.
I believe, so my prediction for who is currently in the race, I think it's actually Kanaan, Wickens, Daly in that order, but we'll keep an eye out for when that gets updated. We've had now 2 spins out of the lead, so a fairly dramatic middle of the race here at Monza. Just when we were saying things were settling down, the commentator's curse kicks in, and several of these drivers really throwing caution and their cars into the wind, and suddenly we have Team Norris leading the race. So that points deficit that was built up on Daytona, Luke, we might actually see the claw back here, and this could end up being too close to call overall.
Yeah, maybe, but is that the number 94 or 24? That's the question here. Like, I'm just not too sure who is in the lead as it stands. If we are to believe what's on the left-hand side of our screen, it is Rosenqvist in the lead, and I may have made a mistake, and it wouldn't be the first time, that's for sure, within sim racing for me to make a mistake. We've got the number 3 here that's not even on the list there. So, yeah, the list on the left-hand side is wrong. So I'm going to go with you then. I think it's Wickens in the lead and Kanaan in second. I think
Wickens is number 3.
Robert Wickens is number 3. Okay, so, yeah, I think he might be in the lead here with Kanaan in second. I think the front 3 then for Byron's team have all bottled it. So, again, as soon as you get into the lead, you make a mistake. It's just the nature of the beast today, apparently.
I think Wickens, Kanaan are going to have to be, they're going to be sweating a little bit now. A lot of pressure on their shoulders now that they are in the lead of the race. And they might actually have the opportunity to really just bring home some super valuable points. We can see Robert Wickens, picture in picture, looking pretty focused, using just enough of the curb ramp parabolica to capture as much speed as possible going down into the start-finish straight. All looking very, very tidy there. We have got Kanaan immediately behind him, but I think it's closer to a second than not. It looks like he's coming up on another vehicle as well. Oh, not the best line around that chicane, and that actually allows Robert Wickens to continue to move forward without too much of an interruption until that happened. Oh, no.
It is like the end scene of Endgame at this stage. It is just continuous carnage, smoke being shoved up in the air. And, well, Wickens with a smile on his face, fair play to him. He's just like, yeah, I'll roll with the punches, it's fine. Damage is off today. It is indeed a showcase event, a bit of fun ultimately. And, oh, there's a big spin. Wickens, oh, wow, well held. I can tell you that is almost impossible to do. These cars, once you lose control of them, they are gone. Fair play to Robert Wickens there. That is save of the day for sure.
So close to losing it there, unfortunately colliding with another car just after the first chicane, meaning that he's lost valuable time. I would suspect that if Wickens and Kanaan were in the lead before, that Kanaan would be in the lead now, but we don't know whether he got caught up in that fracas as well. So all sorts of stuff going on. It looks like that might be... I wanted to say that was a lapped car, but from the way they're holding their line, perhaps it isn't. Moving into Parabolica, should be able to get clear, and we continue to go racing. We are now on lap 8 out of 12, 2/3 of the way through the race, and 40 degrees on Daytona, 40 degrees here as well, of course, the in-game settings at Monza. Luke, how are these tires feeling at this point in the race compared to the oval track that we saw before?
There's not going to be too much difference because the cars are built to be taking corners at this speed. The big deciding factor is that everybody's ended up the wrong way and overheated them one way or another. So it normally takes a couple of laps to really get them into temperature. Ironically, running without lighting up the wheels and spinning the wheels really fast is the best way to indeed cool the tires down. You may need to take a little bit off, but yeah, you know, spinning the car, like the tires in iRacing are so delicate, as they should be. And ultimately, every single driver on this circuit are going to be struggling here. And that's why you're seeing, you know, it took maybe a few laps for there to be the first incident. But as soon as one person has an incident, they're more than likely to get another one. It's very similar to like cautions breed cautions. But lighting up your tires in iRacing normally breeds lighting up your tires in iRacing again. Like it is again, it's the same as, you know, Formula One. You'll see when a car locks up in Formula One, ultimately they're more prone to locking up once again because they've got a flat spot, and that's where the car's tires will settle once again. So it is just the nature of the beast, they say. So we're on board with Tony Kanaan, and yeah, he's gone into you know, game day Sunday mode here with all the lights off in the background. He is ready to rock and roll here. It says he's in team P4 as it stands. We feel like he might be a little bit higher here. Again, unfortunately, the API not quite working out for us properly, but yeah, a very, very interesting race to say the least. It's kind of keep yourself out of trouble and just see where you are on the last lap, John.
Whether we're going to see some lunges into the last lap, I don't know. But you already saw that. There was something like 6 or 7 cars spanning the length of the start-finish straight. So very much bunched up here. Some of those might be lapped cars, but I get the feeling we also have a really bunched midfield in this race as well, which is making it extremely exciting. All sorts of moves up and down the track layout. Going on to the back straight, no theatrics this time, nobody getting shot up into the air. And now braking as late as you possibly can to take a smooth line through the chicane. Very important here that you retain all that speed and don't hit the inside curb too much on the exit as you maximize your speed on the back straight heading up to Parabolica. That was nice and clean.
Yeah, well, we thought it was Rosenqvist earlier on that had that big melee, but I'm starting to think it might have been a back marker up towards Ascari. This is Rosenqvist, and he's looking in absolute control right now in the number 94. There's no one really in front of him. Well, there's someone having a moment there as they come out of Ascari. And I think that Felix Rosenqvist is actually leading this race still, so maybe the timing isn't that bugged. It's just well, there's a big moment there in the background, and the Ascari claims yet another victim. And you can see that even Rosenqvist, then, if he is leading, is still making mistakes running a little bit wide there through the first chicane. But again, he's oh, well, that's definitely not the right way around the circuit.
That must be Connor. That must be Connor.
That was interesting. He's like, maybe I could go around the track faster the opposite way around. Yeah, so that was not in. I didn't expect to see that today, John. That's caught me completely off guard.
Look, maybe that's ASAP Ferg's ace up his sleeve, right? He couldn't get everyone off the start line. He was on the 6th row of the grid. What are you going to do? Wait until the race is well and truly underway, and then when you think no one's looking, start driving the other way.
There's no chance of me being professional with that. That has caught me well. I just can't stop laughing. That's brilliant. I'm like, yeah, they're just gonna do the old light the rear wheels up, get the car spinning 180 degrees, get going again. Nope. We're gonna go the different way here. And I feel sorry for the quick cars that are coming the other way, thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? Wow, incredible scenes.
Hopefully that car is now pointing in the right direction. We've still got, I think these are 2 Byron cars now. You can tell by the color of the rear wing, but a little bit more difficult to tell here than the stock cars we saw earlier. Going through the Lesmers, looking reasonably tidy. I'm very wary of saying that now because I've cast a curse about 12 different cars in the last number of minutes, and already we have a potential big off as soon as I said that. So let's see what happens going into the chicane, but it looks like they're about to get a little bit feisty.
Oh yeah, we could see a little bit of fruity movement here as we come through Ascari. Again, it's all about being brave through here. Got to use the momentum of the car. You've got to use the downforce of the car and set yourself up for the straight. And you can see that one car has set themselves up better than the other, and you can see the amount of time you gain from it as well. So again, being too timid through the corners, you lose so much time, and because there's so many straights here, you've got to set yourself up well for those straights, otherwise you're under pressure. So perfect bit of driving here. We're on that number 11 of 12, so we're nearly at the end, and then we should indeed get a result for you. Through the chicane we come, and well, one makes the chicane, one shows us how not to take that chicane. And again, if you are thinking about signing up to this championship, there's a little tip for you. Make sure you break it a little bit earlier.
Penultimate lap now, 11 of 12 here at Monza. Extremely challenging conditions for all of these drivers. Some of them racing pros, and we've seen the pros go off as well, don't get us wrong. Some of them new to sim racing, just trying to keep it on the black stuff. Whatever your position here, valuable points for the teams are on offer. After Daytona, we had, oh God, that's 2 Byron cars as well, I think. And that might, you know what? Can you even call that a dismount? Or awarded points out of 10 if you don't end up the right way up?
I'm going to be honest with you, John, it's faster when you're on your wheels than it is on your roof.
No, I have to agree there.
That is for sure. And again, it just seems like it doesn't matter what team you're running for at this point. It looks like someone was waiting for someone else there to turn number 1. Maybe a chance of some retribution for something that happened earlier. Through Curve Grande we come. And yeah, it's become very, very scrappy in the end here. But what an interesting race. I think that might have been William Byron himself there. And well, he definitely will not be racing again if he's on his roof like that. We are into the final lap of this race. And yeah, I think although it looked like it might have been Rosenqvist that had the big moment, I don't think it was in the end. And he is absolutely dominated in the end. So I apologize. We haven't really given him the best service here possible or done him justice, really, considering we thought he'd had a big moment. But ultimately, he's done a hell of a job here and he's led from start to finish.
I think assuming crashes has been the name of the game here so far today, but you're absolutely right. Taking a look at the drivers that are just keeping it nice and clean. This driver that's in the lead, that's definitely Team Norris. You can tell from the rear wing. Actually, if we're being honest, has stayed out of trouble and run a relatively clean race, and this is looking pretty slick. It's definitely not Rosenqvist because Rosenqvist is Team Byron and this is an orange rear wing, so it's Team Norris. So it'll be interesting to see what the point situation ends up being as we cross the finish line, I believe, on the final lap there. And a little bit of slowing down.
Nothing more confusing than a driver using the number 94, but in a different livery to the team that he's supposed to be in, or someone else has just used his number. But it is what it is. It's been, let's say, a spectacle, John, for sure. It's been interesting. There's not been a boring moment.
That's very true. Yeah.
Racing? Not so much.
Braking points have been optional. We have seen things go slightly Mario Kart at times. That's some of the bumping that we were looking at on Daytona. Doesn't quite work as well on Monza. Okay, we know that they know they've won. Here come the donuts as well at the end of the start-finish straight. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Heather, that was certainly no dull moments in that race at all.
No dull moments, definitely, but I just love there at the end, whoever just won, doing donuts, but prior to that, someone just getting one more stick in there. You just had to get him back. But it was an incredible race for both teams, a lot of action. You guys did a great job on the call. It'll be interesting to see how the points shake out now that the 2 races are done here in the Pro-Am, but no matter what, I can guarantee they all had a great time.
Very much so. I think at the end of the day, even though the positions were very, very mixed up there towards the end, it was quite clear that everyone was enjoying themselves and having the time of their lives. Whether or not Team Lando will be able to claw back the deficit that we saw on Daytona, I'm not sure. Early on, with Team Byron doing so well in qualifying, it looked like Lando might have been locked out. But now, actually, Luke, it's a little bit more open, and I'm not that willing to call it.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think everybody's too worried about where they finished. I just hope that they're all glad that they were all in one piece. I'm more worried about the tyre company. Actually, no, I'm not worried about their stocks have gone through the roof, actually, to be fair. So many people doing victory donuts, like midway through the race, 8 laps down. Like, yeah, incredible stuff. And like you said, really not a dull moment during that race. Again, this is a spectacle. It's up to you people at home who sign up to really show us the incredible racing over the next 5 months. But yeah, this was, again, just a showcase. And again, a big thank you to everybody that did get involved. I've had an absolute blast here today, John. And they really did showcase a lot of skills. Maybe not incredible racing, but ultimately they gave it all their best.
we've had a really interesting mix of incredible racing, but also shenanigans, shall we say, and it's been a very entertaining mix of the two. We have actually had some drivers, in particular some of the non-professional racing drivers, like Annemunition in the first race. I'm not 100% sure where she's ended up here, but she really impressed and showed us just how much they've improved since the first video that we saw of them meeting each other for the first time and getting some practice laps in. So it'll be very interesting to see whether they take this away. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more racing from them as well. And hopefully, if you've been watching at home and you've been enjoying the broadcast, maybe we'll get to see a little bit of racing from you as well.
And one person that we definitely enjoyed watching is one of our team captains who we're going to welcome in right now, Lando Norris. Man, what an incredible event watching you and your team there. You have to tell us, though, what was your most surprising moment out of both of those races for you?
There was a lot of surprising moments, I would say. Not many of them good, to be honest, but it was just a lot of fun. I think the thing which was impressive and is kind of a result of a lack of practice is how quick Will and Peter were in the NASCAR, in the ovals. There's quite a specific technique you need in order to bump draft and like slipstream each other properly. And you have to be extremely close. And the thing is with being extremely close is you can very easily go badly and you can crash and you can have a bad incident. Like you saw them have, I think. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's a risky business if you want to be first. But they were that much quicker as well, and they ended up winning. So congrats to them. But yeah, nothing else really. I think it was just a lot of fun and a good challenge.
Going into the second race, Lando, points deficit, of course, on Team Byron. Were there any particular interesting shenanigans that you might have planned? Was ASAP Ferg going to try and jump the gun and maybe stop everyone else from going off the start line? What was the strategy going into race 2?
I mean, I didn't actually think we were leading after race 1, so that's a surprise. But no, I think the main thing was to try and stay out of the carnage, which I don't think any of us did, to be honest. So no, I mean, I think I was like second quickest realistically behind Felix, who was quite a chunk quicker. But I made one mistake and then just got unlucky with the back markers and the traffic, and that put me out of it. So yeah, nothing too much. I think I didn't do enough practice, being honest, coming into it. So hopefully before the next one, I can get a bit more time in on the track and make sure we're ahead.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say congratulations on your recent form in Formula One. You've been absolutely smashing it. And if that's an excuse to not put practice in for sim racing, then it's a bloody good excuse. Serious question. How many 5-second penalties do you think should have been handed out in that race?
No comment. Quite a few. I think there was a few lap 1. From what I've seen a few incidents, and there was definitely a few 5-second penalties which should have been handed out. But look, I feel like we got unlucky as a team. There was a lot of contact towards my teammates, even myself in the oval race we did. I got taken out, and I feel like we didn't retaliate. We kept our heads cool, and we'll try and fight back in the next one. And sometimes karma will pay its due. And one of Byron's team, or maybe all of them, will end up in the wall and not finishing. So we'll see.
Interesting point there. I like where your head's at. You never know. But it was definitely fun to watch you. Intense racing, as we can see from the sweat on your forehead there. It looks like you had a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you go ahead and dry off and cool off, get yourself an ice-cold beverage.
Thanks.
And coming up here shortly, we'll check out the rest of the results from the race there at Monza. As you can see, Felix Rosenqvist taking the win. And John, go ahead and take it away on some of those other notable finishers there.
Very, very important victory there. Rosenqvist and Byron actually finishing 1-2, so they had that points lead going into the second race, and that should be enough to protect that lead. But like Lando said, karma might be coming back their way, and maybe the next time these teams meet, we could see a different result. The top Team Norris driver, then Tony Kanaan, taking the final podium position, and then Ben Daly once again putting in a good shift to finish 4th, and Robert Wickens and Lando Norris, after the unfortunate incident earlier in the race there, managing to finish 5th and 6th respectively. Really, really fun race. Lots of incidents all the way throughout, but Team Byron look like they are taking home the lion's share of the points here as well.
And welcoming in now Team Byron captain William Byron. Welcome to the show. Great job out there. But first I have to ask, what happened there with you and Parker in Daytona? You guys know how to do this. Come on.
Oh yeah, I guess we do. Parker's a really good restrictor plate racer, and myself, I've won there at Daytona. And honestly, we just did the tandem drafting, and it worked out. We were able to we planned it out to where Parker and I were going to qualify 1-2, and then we're going to swap in qualifying to try to get Felix up there. And almost worked, but yeah, we did really well in the race. We had the one incident leading there where we wrecked each other, but able to make up the ground and get back to the front. So that was a blast. I had a blast doing that, and we managed to draft well, which is cool.
And then coming into the second race as well, William, you guys knew how important it was, presumably, to protect the points lead that you had from the oval. Was that on your mind before the start of the race at Monza?
Yeah, it was. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't really get a qualifying lap in clean there in qualifying, so I had to start towards the back. But Felix is so fast on the road courses, and I mean, he's insane. I mean, he had like a half second on everyone in practice. So impressed with his speed and talent for sure at Monza, and he carried the team there, and I was able to finish second. So I guess I did okay as a captain, finishing second in both races, but we had fun, and definitely had some ringers with Parker on the ovals and Felix on the road courses.
First of all, similar to Lando, congratulations on your form in real life with the Cup Series, and of course the esports team as well, both doing very, very well. But my question to you is really, what are the comparisons? Obviously, you've raced in the car that you would race in real life. What are the comparisons within sim racing and the real world for you?
Yeah, honestly, I love sim racing. I do it not only for fun, but also to learn some things. And I feel like the model has progressed so much over the years, especially now with NASCAR. The side drafting, next to each other is very critical to positioning. So they've gotten that modeled into iRacing now, and I feel like the tire model is very close now. It's continuing to improve, where the way you slip the tires and slide is very similar. So I use it every week, and I actually raced 3 times last night at Atlanta to get ready for this weekend's NASCAR race. So I use it a lot, and feel like it's a good benefit to me.
All right, William. Well, Lando said that he thinks karma should come into play here and that you guys should get some penalties. So we'll have to wait and see till those final standings come out on whether or not you came out on top. But thank you so much for joining us today. We had so much fun watching you and your team.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This was really fun. Thanks to Logitech for putting it on. Big fan of their products and their support for sim racing. So it was a lot of fun.
Great. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
All right, here they are. Final standings. John, Luke, what do you think?
Well,
wow.
Byron was incredible. He had the captain's performance. He got 34 points, leads out the way. Rosenqvist, who didn't have a particularly amazing race 1, the dominance in race 2 has put him up into second spot. But I think, John, really, to see 4 drivers from Team Byron, really showcased their skill set today.
A really, really impressive lockout there from Team Byron. Lando Norris still leading the way for his team, so very much captain in front. Only by 1 point from Tony Kanaan, but really it is that sheer gap between the leading Norris drivers and the leading Byron drivers. That is not something I would have predicted before the start of today, even if we thought Team Byron would have had a bit of an edge. I feel like the results might have flattered Team Byron a little bit, and maybe Lando's right. Maybe on a day when karma comes back to bite them a little bit, we're going to see Team Norris on top. Who knows?
Well, today's Pro-Am event kicks off the G Challenge series. But gentlemen, I just want quick final thoughts from each of you. We'll start with Luke.
I just thought it was a bit of fun today. Ultimately, again, a huge thank you to all of the drivers who got involved today. For the entertainment of people watching at home. Hopefully everyone at home enjoyed it. But please come and get involved. You have every opportunity to be the next star in the Logitech McLaren G Challenge series. You may not even know what sort of pace you have. So until you just give it a go, you never know.
What about you, John?
Look, whether you're mowing the lawn, going the wrong way, or landing that 8.4 dismount after the chicane, it really doesn't matter. Anyone can race. We're expecting over 100,000 people to come and join in. If anything, today really proved just how entertaining sim racing is and how much fun we're all having with this event. This is just the first of many, and we're going to have so many events between now and the end of the year, and then we're going to be bringing you guys to Vegas as well. So what's stopping you from taking your shot? Absolutely get involved. I look forward to seeing you guys on track.
And for more information on how you want to get involved, go to LogitechGChallenge.com. And of course, we want to thank all of our sponsors once again today, Logitech G, Quantum Pay, Splunk, and McLaren. It's been an incredible event here for all of us at esports, as well as the Logitech McLaren G Series competitors today. It's been an amazing race. On behalf of myself, Heather, Luke Crane, and John Sargent, it's been a pleasure hosting you today. We look forward to seeing you soon.